Nothing but crisis actors. These so-called VIPs.
These are the spectators that were watching.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Velocity 2,257 feet per second. Altitude.
This is raw, unedited video, just sent via satellite.
And right when he says going to throttle up, that's seconds after that. That's when the explosion happens. Now understand, this is very important and key to this follow-up video, is you're going to understand that all the supposed VIPs, they know what just supposedly happened. They heard what happened. They saw the explosion. And way after the fact, you're going to see them still smiling, cracking, smiles with each other, laughing, giggling. And just take a look at how clear it is that these are nothing more than hand-picked crisis actors, and how the supposed family members and VIPs, certain ones are spotlighted, and you can see them clearly smiling and laughing, like I said. It just happened. You hear some people screaming. Okay, you hear them screaming. They know, they've seen the explosion. They know what's going on. So make that crystal clear. When you see them laughing and smiling later on, it's not because they're confused. It's because they're crisis actors and they think the scene's over. They don't know the cameras are still on them. You hear the people screaming in the back. These actors. And again, no confusion of what supposedly is taking place. Nothing more than a large firework that went off with this supposed shuttle explosion. And they know it.
Picture you were just seeing is Christy McCullough's parents watching in horror. These are the students.
See the little kid pointing up, smiling.
From her school.
Right here. Another person is smiling. Again, they know they're going to be on camera, but they can't help cracking that smile. You see this smile? You see this look? This is not someone that's in horror of what they just saw. Same with this lady up here. Look at that big smile. This is not from squinting at the sky, like someone claimed in my previous video. This is a smile. Now she goes into acting gear. And this guy here.
Many of them probably had their view blocked just
again,
as we did with the television cameras.
You should get an award.
A huge fireball and a huge cloud of smoke. They may not realize yet what has happened.
Covering up. He's covering up for the people that he's seen on his monitor smiling. You heard the screaming from some of the actors. Some of the actors knew their key, knew what to do. And others, they didn't have a clue of how to act, and knowing the camera was spotlighted on them.
You see concern etched on their faces. The breath that they've been holding released. And then the realization
now she's acting.
That something is...
Came apart. When the stage came apart.
Clearly, a firework.
At that point, all that remained was...
Flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We're looking at checking with the recovery.
They're telling everybody, all the crisis actors, you need to get on the buses. Your job is done for the day. Hear that again. Get on the buses.
Flight director confirms that. We're looking at checking with the recovery force.
On the buses.
What can be done at this point.
Now, everybody is supposedly aware of what took place. The shuttle supposedly exploded with people on board, and now this is where it all starts. Acting, knowing the camera will be on them. But here's the problem. Here's where the smiling starts again. Clear. No screen-o-matic in the way this time. It's going to be lower, hopefully, with this recording. I want to stop at this particular moment, at this still, when these two crisis actors take a look at each other. They know, of course, it's all a hoax. They can't help kind of like give that smile to each other, like a nod, like, you know, we're in on this type of thing. It reminds me completely of Robbie Parker and his supposed wife. Let's take a look at that. Take a look at this scene. Completely the same exact scenario where, again, Robbie Parker and his wife look at each other and give each other a smile. Like it's all an inside joke.
It will mark 100 days. What has this past 3 months been like for you?
Right here. Look how they kind of smile at each other. She rolls her eyes. He cracks a smile. This is crisis actors at work. And how people can't see this is because they've been blinded. This is on purpose. They allow this. This is pre-taped, and they allow this because those that run this world love to mock. And this is part of it. So, you know, I talk a lot about dupe and delight, but in a lot of cases, I believe the elite want that to take place. It's their form of mocking. It's their form of mockery. With people believing this, let's play it at full motion so you can get a better idea. Just at an instant, only a split second, but these are two actors that basically acknowledging to each other that this is nothing but a joke. Right there. There you go again. Right there. What is this? Robbie Parker's dad? Ha! What a joke.
Edward and Grace, Oregon. They're about
Go back. See, the reason they took the camera off them because they saw them smiling when they shouldn't have. Right there, looking at each other, smiling, giggling, because they know it was nothing more than a fireworks show. They did not lose their daughter. Bogus. Right there. People can't see this? You're in denial. Period.
Edward and Grace,
See?
Oregon.
See, now they're like,
They're about
they see, they cut away. Oh no, they're smiling too much. We better get the camera off of them.
3.5 miles away from the area of the launch pad, in the VIP launch area.
Now, there's people leaving the scene. But there's going to be groups of people left behind because they are 100% crisis actors, and they're going to be spotlighted with a camera. You're going to see them look directly at the camera. And clear as day, they're being spotlighted as crisis actors. Take a look. Right here. There you go. The overacting. Look at his face. Look at these faces. Bad actors.
Families of the astronauts, normally in the grandstand.
Right here. She throws up her arm and it makes a motion like it was an explosion. She knows her cue. She knows what she's doing.
Thomas Jones, the railroad pointed out from the Cape earlier when all of us first
Now right here.
saw the blast.
Here's the transgendered crisis actor. And pay attention back here with this lady. Specifically this one. When she keeps looking for the camera. because they know they're going to be spotlighted. And again, you're going to see the people in the background. They're going to be standing around like big goofs because they know they're not going to be part of the show, just a backdrop for these people that are being spotlighted. Take a look.
There was a moment of stunned silence and disbelief. Many people
Now,
perhaps did
you see this woman here. She has a Star Wars bear in her hand, a little Ewok doll. Who would bring an Ewok bear to a shuttle launch? This is to pull the heartstrings. 100%. Now again, now watch her. This is the one that keeps looking for the camera. After witnessing a supposed shuttle crash explosion, you'd be such in shock. You're not worried about the no damn camera. You'd be in shock and grieving, not looking for a camera. Take a look.
Fuse it with the is it the
Right here. There you go. She knows the camera is in view. She knows she's going to be spotlighted. She's looking right at the camera.
The booster separation
But it was
Now the acting starts.
later.
It was far too early.
Okay.
And far too big an
Let's
explosion.
go back.
And it took a while, I'm sure, for it to sink in
Now, more smiling. Robin Parker's dad here.
the minds of the
There you
parents
go.
and the school
There you see
children.
Mr. and Mrs. Corrigan still standing, saying a silent prayer. Those are Christian McCullough's parents.
It's Edward and Grace Corrigan. Mrs. Corrigan had said in an earlier interview with CNN that she would be thrilled to be the one to be up there herself. That she once took flying lessons just because she liked the adventure of it. They'd always encouraged their daughter to be adventurous.
Again, no tears with any of these people. None. All VIPs, all knowing what supposed VIPs, religious Christ actors, knowing what's taking place here. It's hard to fake real. Hard to fake real emotions, and these people do a poor job of that.
And to go for it, in other words.
Tom, the area that we were just watching, the bleachers where people were watching and photographing the launch, who was allowed in there?
That is the VIP section, invited guests for this launch. I myself received an invitation from Michael Smith, who was the pilot on this flight, to sit in these same bleachers and to watch his launch. Michael Smith has been a guest here on CNN before on our...
Why are they still looking up? Crash already, or the explosion already supposedly took place. Everything's down, supposedly down. Keep looking up where there's nothing.
Launch coverage and sent me a special invitation to go.
That would then include family members of the astronauts.
It includes family members. I understand there was a delegation from China of 100 people.
This guy looks like Grizzly. This guy looks like Grizzly Adams over here. What's the deal with him?
School children from New Hampshire.
Still looking up. This one takes this another transgender crisis actor. Give me a break. No tears. Where are the tears, woman?
As Tom just said, was
No
Mike Smith,
tears.
years old. He was
Listen, with all these crisis actors, this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. People are more awake to these events now, but they've been doing them forever. And here's your proof.
the commander in the U.S. Navy. He's from Beaufort, North Carolina.
These people that control this world, they love to write history with all their events. They want to dictate history. This is why things like this happen. And you'll see, you watch History Channel, you'll see specials on this. Their stuff, their creations. When there are real events that take place, it's not going to be covered on History Channel, Discovery Channel. Only their fabricated garbage gets that coverage.
I'm a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He served in Vietnam, is married, and has 3 children. And we had an interview.
This guy. Look at this guy walk past and break that smile.
I'm a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. He served in Vietnam, is married, and has 3 children.
Who's this guy?
And we had
There he is. There he is. Look at the smile.
an interview with him there on CNN.
Play that so you can see it again in regular speed. Clearly smiling.
3 children. And we had an interview
There you
with
go.
him there on CNN back in July.
His
Let's
job's
play
done
that.
for the day. He's smiling because he knows he's going to get a paycheck coming in.
Heather, as an initial reaction, what do you think went wrong?
Now listen to this. Again, these people know it's nothing more than a fireworks show. And listen to this woman here. Complete joke.
It's difficult to say, Alistair. I've looked at the pictures and I've seen the slowed down version as well. It looks to me, initially, as if something went wrong with the shuttle itself. If you look at the pictures in slow motion, it looks as if the right hand...
She's reading her lines. Again, Robbie Parker's dad. Complete joke. Now, as far as these astronauts in this pyramid worship, this capsule is nothing more than a pyramid that they're praying to. All these Masons involved in the game. And the supposed astronaut that was killed during that supposed disaster. Look at this monument they made for her. And of course the pyramid structure in the back. Freemasons that control, that run this world, control NASA, control our entire society. Now taking a look at some images of the supposed astronauts that passed away, that died during the disaster. You can clearly see they're all alive and well. Now, I covered this aspect before, stating how these so-called space shuttles are nothing more than airplanes. And these images here, and if you truly believe the back hatches of these space shuttles open up in space, this is completely ridiculous. Nothing more than a painting, a CGI effect, nothing real about this. Taking a look at this shuttle being piggybacked. This space shuttle is supposedly 80 tons on top of this plane. Look how flimsy. All this weight is going to be held up by this little metal piece in the front here. Just completely ridiculous how people buy this. More than likely, this is nothing more than a prop, completely empty, nowhere near 80 tons. Probably just a couple tons, if that. A very interesting find when it comes to Wernher von Braun, of course a former Nazi, and a huge part of NASA in the deception with the Saturn V rocket program. Just take a look at his tombstone, at his gravesite. And what do you see here? A Bible verse, Psalms 19:1. What does it say? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Of course, the firmament is conceived in the Bible as a vast, solid dome. Why would NASA's head of rocketry, Wernher von Braun, going back in time, have this on his tombstone? Makes absolutely no sense. Of course, if he knows we live under a firmament, a dome, as a form of mockery, that's why they put this on his tombstone. Taking a look at some images as I shown before, supposed space shuttle launches, and you see this huge arch. Why is that? You would think it would go straight up, go right through the supposed atmosphere to go into space. This makes absolutely no sense. It only makes sense because we live under a dome, a firmament, as the Bible states. Now, taking a look at John F. Kennedy here with Wernher von Braun. I made videos about John F. Kennedy in the past. For all those people that think he's some type of hero, Why did he promise that they would send a man to the moon before the end of the decade? If he was a true speaker, he would say, we can't get into space. There is a dome above us. But he's not going to say that. He's basically like an Alex Jones back in the 60s, mixing truth with lies. Understand, the first time he went off course and went against his handlers, he would have been yanked. He wouldn't continue to make speech after speech, supposedly exposing his handlers. I've covered his death hoax in the past. John F. Kennedy. Kennedy is 33 in numerology, by the way. Nothing but a deceiver. You need to understand how far the deception goes. The world is a stage. JFK with Werner von Braun, two puppets in the game. These Masons in the game with Walt Disney and Werner von Braun, a former Nazi and then NASA head. And here's your evidence for your belief in the blue marble and planets outside of Earth's atmosphere, supposedly. To give you the first image of the supposed planet we live on. And what do? They put sex written in the clouds. And people might say, well, you know, I've seen animal shapes and people's faces in the clouds, but you're not going to see letters, especially lined up in the clouds. I mean, if you have an S here, an E here, an X there, that'd be one thing. But what are the chances of sex being spelt out all together in a group? I mean, XES, ESX, but SEX all lined up? Give me a break. And with the supposed image of Pluto provided from NASA, and of course, I'm providing a link, the URL here, from space.com. This is an official supposed photo of Pluto. And what do you have? The planet Pluto and Pluto the dog from Disney. His face carved out in this image. All part of mockery by those that run this world, that to those that believe the lies. And for all the coincidence theorists out there that look at this and see how it just so happens to fit Pluto's face from Disney. You don't see the connection with Disney and NASA? How they're all working together? The sex symbolism here with Disney as well. Again, with Werner von Braun and Disney. Two Masons in the game. These two have passed away, but they're carrying on the tradition with the mocking of the masses. And interesting enough, China supposedly landed on the moon back in 2013. It was barely covered by the mainstream media because it was so fake, it was so ridiculous. That's why if you talk to an average citizen that believes in the moon landing back in 1969, and you talk to them about this Chinese moon landing, they never heard about it. There's a good reason. Take a look at this footage. All you get is CGI effects. Nothing real about this, but people just lap it up. Now, what's filming this lunar lander from this aspect? What's filming it? Obviously all CGI, all fake garbage passed off to the masses, and they just lap it up. They're all clapping, watching a CGI video A horrible one at that. And the masses, again, lap it up. This is your evidence that they landed on the moon. This is your evidence that they can get past God's firmament. Now listen here. After supposedly, successfully laying that probe on the moon, what do you hear? You're going to hear a lot of laughing. In a real life situation, you're going to hear people happy, but not laughing like it's a big joke. This is mockery. These people from China's space know this is all fake. And this is just like duping the light. They're laughing over this because they know it's nothing but a big joke. Talking about mockery, just take a look at this company, Orion Telescope Center, located in Cupertino, California. Take a look at their company logo, and what do you see? Basically the dome with the flat earth. These people know the earth is flat. They are just profiting. Those gullible people that just believe all the lies of science. When the foundation is a lie, everything else after is a lie as well. Here's a closer look at the storefront. Right in front of your face. And here's the dome above the flat earth. What a complete joke.
And in case there are any conspiracy theorists out there, how would you prove to us that you're in zero gravity?
You know how the so-called elite love a play on words when they call them astronauts because they've never been in space. That's why they're called astronauts. This is how the elite love to mock all those that believe that somehow these phonies can get into space. What exactly do rockets push against in the vacuum of space? Rockets never been in space. Period. When you see a rocket launch, you always see it go at an angle towards the ocean. All it does is crash back into the ocean. You'll never see that full footage. That's why you see the Kennedy Space Center, for example, right next to the ocean. Exactly like you see in this image here, with this huge arch. Again, nothing more than a rocket that launches and comes back down to Earth. And there are plenty of images of this on Google Images. You can take a look for yourself. I'm not going to show them all here. And someone asked, what about the shuttle landings? I saw it on TV. Very easy to explain. It's just like watching a movie where pieces are edited together. When it's time for the supposed return of the space shuttle from outer space, all they do is have a so-called space shuttle, which is nothing more than an airplane, come in for a landing, as shown on TV. And I'll demonstrate that again for the new viewers. And just for reference, for anybody that hasn't seen my previous videos exposing the space shuttles being nothing more than airplanes, let's first take a look at these supposed space shuttles. Look at these wings. You think these wings will help this supposedly 80-ton space shuttle come in for a glide landing with no engines? This thing would fall out of the sky like a rock. No way this is a space shuttle. Now, to confirm what NASA even states, this is the text from their website, a glider is a special kind of aircraft that has no engine. The space shuttle flies as a glider during re-entry and landing. During ascent, that's of course the initial flight, thrust is provided by 3 space shuttle main engines at the base of the orbiter and the 2 solid rocket boosters that are joined to the orange external fuel tank. Of course, orange for 33. The solids are jettisoned about 2 minutes into ascent, and the fuel tank is jettisoned as the shuttle enters Earth's orbit. So there are no propellants available to the SSMEs during descent. So make that clear. There's no propellants. Though the engines are still present, the shuttle returns as an unpowered glider. Now, before showing the footage, like I stated, this is no space shuttle. This is an airplane, and here is your jet engines. Now let's take a look at this footage with the supposed landing of the space shuttle. Again, nothing but an airplane coming in for a landing at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I'm going to play this footage and break it down a bit. Then I'm going to play the footage again uninterrupted. I'll show again, this is nothing more than an airplane. I'm going to also mention here during the playing of the video, there's going to be a plane in the distance. And you're going to tell this is way too far to be the jet engines from that plane. It's clearly from the supposed space shuttle. Take a look and take a close listen. Now, first off, look at the elevation that you have here. It's coming in for the landing. No way a glider could be that low and maintain this level throughout if it's a glider. Now, here are the engines.
There's a shuttle.
One thing I want to point out, here is a supposed chase plane, which is in the very far distance. Let's take a look and listen at the rest of the landing of this airplane. And also, again, if you think it's this plane in the back, the supposed chaser plane, you are completely deceived, completely deluded, stuck on the lot, and you can't get out of it. Take a look and listen.
Touchdown. There's a shuttle. Touchdown.
Talking about frauds, getting back to Mark Kelly, the astronaut. Here he is with another fraud, Gabriella Giffords. Let's take a look at this image of Gabriella Giffords speaking about gun control. You can clearly see this is not the same woman. This is an actor, an actress taking her spot. Clearly see it's not the same person. Wearing orange, of course, 33 in Freemasonry. Just look at these two here. Two frauds married to each other. Match made in hell. And talking about frauds, let's listen to the rest of Chris Hadfield's interview on BBC where he goofs up. He talks about eventually going to the moon and beyond. A little bit over a minute long, almost 2 minutes actually. Take a listen at this fraud, just like Mark Kelly, just like Buzz Aldrin. All of these supposed astronauts are all Freemasons, all liars, deceiving the public. This is what Masonry is all about, deception. Take a listen.
How important is the engineering, the fact that we've learned to build such a large structure in Earth orbit?
It's sort of as if, when a little kid is sailing their sailboat in a pond remotely, at some point that then person starts to sail a sailboat up and down the coast, and then they invent and learn and study and figure out all the things they need to do so that maybe then someday they can actually sail out of sight of land. And the station has been orbiting the Earth as if we're sort of sailing within sight of land as we invent. What do you make the hull out of? How do you navigate? What food do you need? How do you make a toilet that'll work forever? How do you recycle water? How do you recycle the oxygen? It's the main crucible test bed where we've been trying to grind out all the lessons that will eventually let us go to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon. Astronauts to the moon. Astronauts to the moon. Astronauts to the moon.
Now just taking a look at the ball Earth, or the supposed ball Earth, where the axis is 23.4 degrees off being vertical. It leads you to 66.6 degrees off horizontal. If you think this is just a coincidence, take a look at this. Earth is supposedly orbiting around the sun and moving at 66,600 miles an hour. Another thing I want to point out here, let's take a look. Now let's take a look at this model with the Earth supposedly orbiting the sun, and of course the moon orbiting Earth. And while this is all taking place, Earth is supposedly rotating. Now let's take a look at this image here of Polaris, the North Star. Take a look at this model here. Now, explain to me, for anybody out there, how is it possible for the North Star or Polaris to remain constant above the supposed North Pole while it's orbiting around the sun? It makes absolutely no sense because it doesn't happen. It does not take place. That's simple. Now let's take a look at this. Like I said, the Earth supposedly spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Gravity holds on the water, and the water is perfectly still. How is this possible? If the Earth is supposedly spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, wouldn't you think the water would fly off? This is not possible. People can't grasp reality because all they have been fed are lies. I showed this image before, Under the Dome by Stephen King. Again, mockery in plain sight, truth in plain sight. And let's look at this space shuttle launch from Cape Canaveral in Florida. As I mentioned before, the reason they have these shuttle launches, or supposed shuttle launches, into space, off the coast, so basically these rockets could land right in the water, right in the ocean. That's what it's all about. And later on, again, you see the supposed space shuttles, which are nothing more than airplanes coming for a landing. It's just like a movie. It's all edited, fit together for the public. Just take a look at this image as well. You really believe this space shuttle is going to outer space? This is completely ridiculous. Now let's take a look at this image here put together by David from deep inside the rabbit hole. Just look at the flight paths the airlines make people take. You will not see plane crossing from South Africa to Australia. That would be, of course, the shortest route. Here's the flat Earth model. Like he states, there's no shortcuts. And of course, UN logo, the same exact thing. You can go to this one website, which is called Flight Radar 24. And it shows all this flight activity worldwide. Interesting enough, you see all these planes flying all over the place. Understand, the so-called northern hemisphere, and with the flat Earth model, it does not affect flight paths. When you get to the south, that's where everything is stretched out. This is why you don't see these flights. Take a look here. You'll notice you'll never see, if you go to Flight Radar 24, you'll never see flights in the process of crossing from southern South America to South Africa or South Africa to Australia. What I witnessed myself watching it over time is you won't see an actual plane crossing, but right when it reaches land, then all of a sudden it appears on radar. How amazing. I'm talking about how the game is rigged with this matrix and why so many can't see or understand what's taking place. Let's look at some of the deceivers. Of course, the public school system is going to teach, the ball earth, which is expected. When it comes to these so-called Christians, these truth speakers such as Ken Hovind, this is how they control the matrix. They're going to have him tell you the absolute 100% truth when it comes to evolution, but he's not going to tell you the truth about the flat earth. So many of his presentations, you'll see that globe in plain sight right in front of his desk. He's pointing at it, and again, giving you 95% truth when he talks about evolution being a lie. When it comes to the ball earth, he's going to deny it. He's going to deny the earth is flat. He's going to stick to the ball earth theory. This is how they operate. Let's take a look at Ken Hovind. He was a member of the Prophecy Club, nothing but a club of deceivers. I pointed this out before at my previous channel with all the Masonic hand signs. With this one with Dr. Marquise, it just so happens their zip code in Topeka, Kansas starts with 666. Now what are the chances of that? They go out of their way to have the occultic numbers in plain sight. Like I just referenced, 666, 777, the 33, the 911, always in plain sight. And also, with the signs and symbols, the sign of silence, all these supposed oath keepers of keeping secrets. Interesting enough, look at this Canadian astronaut, Chris Hadfield, doing the same sign of silence. More recent news story with David Bowie supposedly passing away. He is part of the rigged game, the matrix that we live in. Now, some might ask, if this is all true, why doesn't the news say so? Why does the news expose this as truth? Understand, people that are awake already realize this. The media is 100% controlled. Some might say, well, what about my preacher? What about my pastor? Why don't they tell me the truth? You see the problem here? All the Masonic hand signs, just like all the rest of the deceivers. These are all Freemasons, all liars. The game is 100% rigged. Just look at John Hagee's hands here, the devil horns. Take a look at this hand sign that he does twice here. Just like Anton LaVey. These are all Satanists. When the Bible states Satan deceives the world, that is very literal, as you can see. So the people that go to church, that attend services, they don't hear their preacher say 9/11 is not what we're told. Sandy Hook was a hoax. What happened in Paris, France is a hoax. This is because all those involved, all of TV is 100% controlled. And again, this is how they control the matrix.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. The evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven.
This is a group of social criminals, these people in the space program. Nassholes, I call them.
Space, the final frontier.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement.
Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating.
Astronaut astronauts to the moon.
The Force can have a strong influence on the weak-minded.
Conspiracy theorists. They've been crazy, but now they're right.